The glitz, the glam, and the gossip Hollywood's Golden Girls are at war. What started as a friendly on-set bond between Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney has spiraled into a headline-grabbing feud that has fans, insiders, and even co-stars picking sides. Yes, you heard that right, two of the biggest stars from Euphoria are allegedly locked in a bitter rivalry that's spilling far beyond the cameras. Rumors are swirling that Zendaya once Sydney's biggest supporter has officially cut her off. Sources claim a shocking betrayal shattered their friendship, leading to icy stares, social media shade, at a backstage confrontation that left everyone speechless. Fans say the tension first erupted during an awards season after-party, where a simple misunderstanding turned into a full-blown showdown. Some even whisper that producers were forced to step in to keep things from exploding on set. And now, with cryptic posts, deleted photos, and insider leaks flooding the internet, the question everyone's asking is, what really happened between Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney? Did fame, jealousy, or betrayal tear apart Hollywood's favorite duo? Stay tuned, because tonight, we're diving deep into the feud that's shaking the industry to its core. This is the story of Zendaya shuts down Sydney Sweeney, the bitter feud. Supposed it all began like something straight out of a Hollywood dream. Two young stars, both beautiful, talented, and adored by millions, found themselves working side by side on one of TV's most talked about shows. Zendaya, already a global icon and one of Hollywood's most respected actresses, took Sydney Sweeney under her wing when the newcomer joined the cast of Euphoria. Insiders say Zendaya saw something special in her from day one. "She reminded me of myself when I first started," Zendaya allegedly told a crew member. The bond was instant, laughing on set, posting selfies together, sharing fashion tips, and supporting each other through the emotional roller coaster of filming such an intense show. Fans loved their chemistry, calling them the new golden duo of Hollywood. But fame has a strange way of twisting even the purest friendships. It started subtly, with whispers from the makeup trailer. Crew members began to notice a shift: less laughter, fewer conversations, and an unmistakable tension in the air. One source claimed that it all began when Sydney started landing more magazine covers and brand deals. Zendaya didn't say anything at first, the insider shared, but you could tell she noticed. People around them began comparing the two, especially when Sydney's breakout roles outside of Euphoria started earning her critical acclaim. Fans online were ruthless, debating who was the real star of the show. What was meant to be friendly competition slowly turned into something more dangerous. It didn't help that tabloids began fueling the fire. One headline screamed, "Is Sydney Sweeney Hollywood's next Zendaya?" Another asked, "Has Zendaya finally met her match?" Every article seemed to pit them against each other, and every red carpet appearance became a silent battle of who could shine brighter. Sydney's team allegedly encouraged the comparisons, seeing it as a way to elevate her name. Zendaya's inner circle, however, reportedly saw it as a form of disrespect. "Zendaya has always been humble," said one friend. "She never needed to compete. But when someone tries to ride your wave, you can't just sit back forever." The first public crack in their friendship appeared during a Fashion Week event in Paris. Both were invited by the same designer, and fans expected an iconic joint appearance. Instead, they arrived separately, sat at opposite ends of the runway, and didn't exchange a single word. Witnesses claimed that when Zendaya entered, the room shifted, paparazzi flashes went wild, and even Sydney seemed caught off guard. "You could feel the tension," said a fashion journalist who was there. "They avoided each other like they were strangers." Later that night, Sydney posted a photo captioned, "Sometimes silence says it all," which fans quickly interpreted as a dig. The post went viral, and within hours, Zendaya's fans clapped back with their own theories. Still, both actresses kept their silence publicly. Zendaya continued to focus on her projects, appearing calm and composed as always. Sydney, on the other hand, started giving interviews that raised eyebrows. In one conversation with a major entertainment outlet, she was asked about working with Zendaya, and her answer seemed cold. "We're both professionals," she said. "We come to set, do our jobs, and that's what matters." Social media exploded. What happened to their friendship? One fan asked. This sounds like shade. Another commented. Behind the scenes, things were reportedly far messier. According to multiple insiders, there was a heated moment during a private cast dinner hosted by one of the producers. Everyone expected a relaxed evening, but tension filled the room the moment Zendaya and Sydney locked eyes. A crew member claimed it started with a joke about screen time and then it escalated. Sydney made a comment about not needing to cry her way to awards, and Zendaya shot back something about earning respect before demanding it. The whole table went silent. The confrontation was brief but unforgettable. Some cast members left early. Others tried to smooth things over, but it was clear something had broken between them. For weeks after that, the production atmosphere reportedly grew unbearable. People started picking sides. Some felt Sydney was just trying to assert herself, while others believed she was becoming arrogant. Zendaya, always the consummate professional, apparently kept her cool on set, but the emotional strain was visible. She was quieter than usual, one assistant director recalled. She used to laugh between takes, but now she just stayed in her trailer. She didn't even come to the cast wrap party that year. As if that wasn't enough, rumors of betrayal began to surface. Anonymous sources claimed Sydney had been in talks to star in a major film that Zendaya was initially attached to. The project was allegedly one Zendaya had championed for months, only to find out later that Sydney's agents had swooped in behind the scenes. Zendaya felt blindsided. A close friend said, "It wasn't just business, it was personal." When news broke that Sydney landed the role, fans quickly noticed Zendaya unfollowed several industry figures connected to the project. While she never commented publicly, her silence spoke volumes. The internet went into a frenzy. Hashtags like #TeamZendaya and #TeamSydney started trending. Fans dissected every look, every post, every interview. Conspiracy theories flooded Twitter, with people analyzing body language from red carpet videos and old behind-the-scenes footage. Some claimed Zendaya had been too controlling, while others accused Sydney of chasing clout. Every move became ammunition for the online war. Even brands began to tread carefully, not wanting to offend either camp. Then came the award show night that no one will ever forget. Both actresses were nominated for major categories, and everyone was watching. The cameras caught Zendaya arriving in a stunning silver gown, poised and radiant, while Sydney appeared moments later in a bold red dress that screamed confidence. As the night went on, they avoided each other completely. But the real drama happened backstage. Eyewitnesses say Sydney approached Zendaya to congratulate her when Zendaya won an award, but the interaction quickly went south. Zendaya smiled, but it wasn't genuine. One insider recounted. She said something like, "Funny how things work out when you play fair," and walked away. Sydney was reportedly left speechless, holding back tears as her team ushered her away. By the next morning, entertainment outlets were ablaze with headlines about their cold encounter. Everyone wanted to know what Zendaya meant by that comment, and Sydney's silence only fueled speculation. Even other celebrities began to subtly weigh in. One famous actress tweeted, "Some people forget who helped them climb," which fans assumed was directed at Sydney. Another posted, "Grace under pressure always wins," which many saw as a nod to Zendaya. From there, things only escalated. Sydney reportedly started distancing herself from the Euphoria team, skipping table reads and declining interviews that mentioned Zendaya. Meanwhile, Zendaya was said to have requested changes in how promotional content was structured, ensuring their interactions were minimal. Insiders described the vibe as ice-cold professionalism. One producer even admitted, "It felt like we were walking on eggshells." No one wanted to set either of them off. But the breaking point, the moment that would change everything, came at an exclusive Hollywood gala just weeks later. It was supposed to be a night celebrating women in film, but instead turned into the talk of the town for all the wrong reasons. That night, amid flashing cameras and designer gowns, Zendaya and Sydney came face to face once again. What happened next, according to witnesses, was nothing short of explosive. The night of the Hollywood Gala began like any other. Glamorous affair, champagne glasses clinking, photographers shouting names, and a sea of glittering gowns under the chandelier lights. But beneath the sparkle, there was tension thick enough to cut with a knife. Everyone knew Zendaya and Sydney would both be attending, and everyone wanted to see how they would handle it. Reporters waited at the red carpet, whispering predictions about whether the two actresses would cross paths or avoid each other completely. When Zendaya arrived first, poised and elegant in a sleek ivory gown, the crowd erupted. She smiled, waved, and answered questions gracefully, never once hinting at the storm brewing beneath her calm exterior. Just as she was finishing her interviews, a ripple of noise swept through the photographers. Sydney had arrived, dressed in shimmering midnight blue. Sydney commanded attention instantly. She looked confident, even defiant, her chin held high as she made her way down the carpet. When asked about Zendaya, her smile faltered for a split second. "Tonight's about celebrating women in film," she said softly, then moved on. But every camera caught that hesitation. Once inside, the tension multiplied. Guests noticed that the organizers had placed Zendaya and Sydney at separate tables directly across the ballroom from each other. Whispers flew through the crowd. They didn't even try to hide it. Someone murmured "dot" throughout the night. Both actresses maintained their composure. They greeted mutual friends, laughed politely, and pretended not to notice each other. But that illusion shattered halfway through the event, when a respected director known for working with both of them made an offhand joke while presenting an award. "Maybe next time we'll see these two incredible ladies share the screen again if they can stand to be in the same room." The audience gasped. Zendaya's polite smile froze, and Sydney's eyes widened before she quickly looked away. Laughter rippled awkwardly across the room, but behind those perfect smiles, something inside both of them cracked. When the ceremony ended and the after-party began, emotions were high. Industry insiders say Zendaya tried to leave early to avoid any unnecessary drama. But fate, or perhaps gossip-loving circumstance, had other plans. As she made her way toward the exit, she crossed paths with Sydney near the private lounge area. Witnesses say the encounter started civilly enough. "Hi," Sydney said cautiously, her tone neutral. "Hi," Zendaya replied, her voice cool. There was a brief silence before Sydney added, "I wish people would stop talking like we hate each other." Zendaya looked at her, expression unreadable. "Well," she said, "people usually talk when they sense the truth." Those words landed like a slap. One bystander claimed Sydney's face turned pale, but she quickly fired back. "You think I betrayed you, don't you? All because I worked hard and got roles you wanted." Zendaya crossed her arms. "It's not about that, Sydney. It's about respect. I supported you. I lifted you up. And somewhere along the way, you forgot who was in your corner." Voices began to rise, drawing attention from nearby guests. One producer tried to step in, whispering, "Ladies, please, not here." But neither was listening. Sydney took a step closer, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "You act like I owe you my career," she said sharply. "I've earned everything I have." Zendaya's tone softened, but only slightly. "No one said you didn't. But you can't climb by stepping on other people, Sydney. That's not how this industry works." According to multiple witnesses, Sydney turned and walked away before things escalated further. But the damage was done. By the next morning, several guests had leaked details of the confrontation to gossip outlets. It was like watching two sisters tear. Each other apart, one guest confessed. You could tell there was a lot of pain, their years of tension finally boiling over. The story exploded online. Within hours, hashtags like #ZendayabSydney and #GalaExplosion were trending worldwide. Fans took sides with fierce loyalty. "Zendaya was just being real," one user tweeted. "She built that platform and Sydney disrespected her." Others disagreed. "Zendaya's acting like she owns Hollywood. Let Sydney shine too." Interviews from the event were replayed endlessly, with body language experts analyzing every glance and gesture. Even celebrity gossip shows replayed the moment the two crossed paths, speculating on what might have been said, while the public devoured the drama. Both actresses retreated into silence, at least officially. But behind closed doors, more complications were brewing. Producers from Euphoria reportedly held emergency meetings about the situation. The show's next season was already in pre-production, and both actresses were expected to return. "We can't have them refusing to shoot scenes together," one executive allegedly said. "This isn't high school. It's a multi-million-dollar series." Insiders revealed that Zendaya privately expressed reluctance to continue unless certain boundaries were respected, while Sydney's representatives demanded equal billing and pay, something that reportedly infuriated Zendaya's management team. Meanwhile, friends of both women started leaking their side of the story to tabloids. One anonymous friend close to Zendaya told a magazine, "She's hurt, but she's not vindictive. She just wants peace. She feels like she was stabbed in the back by someone she once called family." A source from Sydney's camp painted a different picture. Sydney is tired of being painted as the villain. She admires Zendaya, but refuses to live in her shadow. "This isn't about jealousy, it's about independence." The tension reached another peak when fans noticed Zendaya liked a cryptic tweet that read, "Not everyone who smiles at you is rooting for you." Social media erupted again, claiming it was a thinly veiled message aimed at Sydney. A few days later, Sydney posted an Instagram story showing a burning matchstick with the caption, "Some bridges are meant to light your way forward, whether coincidence or not." The timing was too perfect. Fans interpreted it as a direct response, and the digital battlefield reignited. In the midst of all this, an unexpected voice entered the conversation: Jacob Elordi, their co-star. During a podcast appearance, he was asked about the rumored feud, and his answer only added fuel to the fire. "They're both strong personalities," he said carefully. "Sometimes strong people clash, but they're both incredible at what they do." Although his words seemed neutral, his tone suggested there was more behind the scenes than he was willing to admit. Within hours, blogs were filled with headlines like "Jacob confirms tension on Euphoria set," and "Even the cast can't deny the feud." By this point, the entire entertainment industry seemed to be watching every move these two women made. Award season buzz turned into a rivalry narrative, and brands began subtly taking sides. Zendaya's longtime stylist posted a story with the caption, "Class over chaos," while Sydney's publicist was photographed at a party whispering to reporters. Even directors were rumored to be reconsidering future collaborations to avoid the media circus. One producer privately confessed, "Hollywood loves drama, but this is becoming toxic." Both of them are losing control of the story. And then, just when it seemed the situation couldn't get worse, a shocking leak hit the internet. A voice recording, allegedly from that same gala night, began circulating online. It captured what sounded like Zendaya's voice saying, "You think fame makes you untouchable? One day, the truth will come out." Although the authenticity of the recording was never verified, the damage was instant. Within hours, headlines screamed, "Zendaya threatens Sydney Sweeney," and public opinion split like never before. Sydney's team issued a vague statement denying involvement, saying, "We do not engage with false narratives," while Zendaya's representative simply called it edited fabrication. Still, the controversy raged on. The fallout was massive. Both actresses began facing questions about professionalism and ego. Hollywood insiders whispered that their agents were secretly arranging meetings to de-escalate things, fearing permanent damage to their reputations. "These women are too talented to let gossip destroy their careers," one insider said. "But egos are fragile in this town. Once trust is gone, it's almost impossible to rebuild." And so, after weeks of silence, everyone waited for the next move. The feud had gone from whispers to public warfare, and both stars seemed trapped in a cycle of misunderstandings and pride. The only question left was who would make the next move. Would Zendaya finally speak out? Or would Sydney take control of the narrative herself? As one source ominously put it, they've reached the point of no return. Whatever happens next will either destroy one of them or change Hollywood forever. In the weeks following the leaked audio, Hollywood was on edge. Every gossip outlet, podcast, and entertainment blogger was dissecting the feud like it was a national scandal. Headlines screamed betrayal, arrogance, jealousy, and even secret sabotage. Fans speculated endlessly, and paparazzi camped outside studios hoping to catch even a fleeting glance of Zendaya or Sydney. But both actresses went completely silent. No interviews, no appearances, no statements. Just total calculated quiet. It was as if both had vanished from the public eye, leaving the world desperate for answers. That silence, however, didn't last long. One afternoon, Zendaya was spotted at a Los Angeles cafe with her longtime manager and a close friend. The paparazzi photos showed her looking calm, but her expression carried something deep resolve. A week later, she agreed to an exclusive sit-down interview with a respected talk show host, the same one known for getting celebrities to reveal their truths. When the episode aired, millions tuned in. Dressed simply in a beige blazer and minimal makeup, Zendaya looked composed. But her eyes revealed exhaustion. "There's been a lot of talk lately," the host began gently. "You've been at the center of some pretty intense rumors regarding your relationship with Sydney Sweeney. Do you want to address any of it?" Zendaya took a breath, smiled faintly, and said, "I think people forget that behind all the lights and cameras, we're still human. Emotions run high, misunderstandings happen. I'll just say this, I've always tried to support people I work with. Always. Sometimes things don't work out the way you hope. But that doesn't mean there's hate. I have no bad blood toward anyone," was a diplomatic answer. Perfectly measured, yet fans couldn't help but notice her tone gentle, but firm. It sounded like closure, but not forgiveness. Social media exploded. "She's taking the high road," fans tweeted. Zendaya handled that with class, yet some weren't convinced. "That smile said everything," one viewer wrote. "She's done with Sydney." 2 days later, Sydney broke her silence. Her team arranged a glossy magazine interview that was clearly designed to repair her image. She posed for photos in a soft, feminine setting, pastel tones, natural light, innocent smiles. But inside the pages, her words carried quiet defiance. "It's been a tough time," she admitted. "The truth is, I've always admired Zendaya. She's one of the most hardworking people I know. But I also need to stand on my own 2 feet. People love to create drama where there isn't any yet." When asked about the leaked audio, she frowned slightly and replied, "Some things are better left unspoken." That single sentence reignited everything. Fans dissected it from every angle. Was she implying the recording was real? Was it a subtle jab? And why did she say unspoken instead of untrue? Speculation flooded the internet once again, undoing any progress toward peace. Entertainment channels began airing side-by-side clips of the 2 interviews, playing them over dramatic music, inviting viewers to decide for themselves. Meanwhile, insiders revealed that the Euphoria production team was in chaos. HBO executives were allegedly debating whether to delay the next season. Scripts had already been written with both actresses in major storylines, but the on-set atmosphere was now considered too volatile. Rumors spread that Zendaya had asked for a separate filming schedule from Sydney, refusing to share scenes unless absolutely necessary. "We had to rewrite entire sequences," a staff member confessed anonymously. They didn't even want to be in the same building. Behind the scenes, things took an even darker turn. A private group chat among the Euphoria cast was leaked to a gossip page, revealing messages that hinted at division. One message, supposedly from a cast member, read, "The energy on set is weird. Z barely talks to S anymore." Another said, "Producers are freaking out. It's like everyone's walking on glass." Although no names were confirmed, fans connected the dots instantly. Soon, online communities started taking it to far, spamming Sydney's posts with snake emojis and labeling her a backstabber. Zendaya's fans rallied in defense of their idol. But Sydney's loyal followers fought back with equal ferocity, accusing Zendaya of Hollywood gatekeeping. It had become more than a feud. It was a cultural event. The stress began showing. Insiders whispered that Sydney had broken down in tears during a rehearsal, leaving the set abruptly. Zendaya, ever composed in public, was reportedly emotionally drained and considering stepping away from the project altogether. She loves the work, one confidant said, but this drama is suffocating her. A few nights later, Zendaya was spotted at a charity gala, smiling as always, but the smile didn't reach her eyes. People who spoke to her that night said she seemed distracted. Lost in thought then, unexpectedly, a mutual friend intervened, none other than Sam Levinson, the creator of Euphoria. According to insiders, he invited both actresses for a private dinner at his home, hoping to mediate the growing crisis. "I can't have my show torn apart by this," he reportedly said. "You're both too important for the story and for each other." Both reluctantly agreed to attend, though neither seemed thrilled that the dinner, according to an anonymous source present, was filled with tension from the start. Zendaya arrived first, calm but cautious. Sydney came later, her expression nervous. For several minutes, no one spoke. The air felt heavy, charged with unspoken history. Finally, Sam broke the silence. "You two built something incredible together," he said softly. "The world loves what you've created. Don't throw it away because of pride." Zendaya looked down, then finally met Sydney's eyes. "It's not pride," she said quietly. "It's disappointment." Sydney's lip trembled slightly. "I didn't mean to hurt you," she whispered, "but I felt like I could never be enough. No matter what I did, people said I was just trying to be you." Zendaya's voice softened. "And you let them get to you. You started believing the noise." Silence hung between them again before Zendaya continued. "I wanted to protect you from that. But somewhere along the way, you stopped letting me." Witnesses say both women grew emotional. Sam excused himself from the table to give them privacy. And what followed was a long, heartfelt conversation that no one else heard in full. But according to one assistant who caught fragments from the hallway, there were apologies, confessions, and tears. "It wasn't dramatic," the assistant said. "It was sad. Like two people realizing they'd lost something real." By the end of the evening, the two actresses reportedly hugged before leaving separately. Though they didn't make any public statements, word of their reconciliation spread quickly through industry circles. Still, not everyone believed it. "It feels too perfect," one critic wrote online. "Hollywood loves a redemption arc." Others speculated that it was merely damage control orchestrated by their teams to protect upcoming projects. For a brief moment, it seemed peace might be possible. Both stars returned to work, and sources described the set atmosphere as tense but professional. They even appeared together in a cast photo, smiling politely. Fans noticed, of course. "They're healing," one tweet read, hopefully. But just as the world began to believe the feud had finally ended, another twist shattered the illusion completely: an anonymous account on social media. One that had previously leaked accurate Hollywood gossip posted a shocking claim. "Don't be fooled. The feud is far from over." One of them recorded the other during their reconciliation dinner. The audio exists. The post went viral within hours. Suddenly, everyone was asking the same question: who recorded who? That rumor reignited the entire controversy. Zendaya's fans insisted she would never do something so manipulative. Sydney's supporters argued that Zendaya's team was trying to smear her again. Within a day, online detectives began hunting for proof, combing through photos, videos, and timestamps. Neither actress made a comment, but both were seen separately in Los Angeles, their expressions somber. Reporters yelled questions about the new rumor, but they ignored them privately. Sources close to both stars denied the recording's existence. But the damage was done. The fragile truce was shattered. It was like watching a wound reopen. One insider lamented. They had just started to trust each other again. And now this. As production on Euphoria entered its next phase, executives made a drastic decision. Zendaya and Sydney's characters would have minimal interaction. It was an unspoken acknowledgement that the relationship between the actresses had become too complicated to mend, at least for now, as filming continued. The atmosphere on set was a careful balancing act. Both Zendaya and Sydney maintained professionalism, but the tension was palpable. Every scene they shared, even if brief, was meticulously staged to avoid conflicts. Crew members described it as walking a tightrope every day, with producers constantly mediating. Even extras reportedly joked about needing a peacekeeper on set just to survive the day. Insiders whispered that every line, every glance, and every interaction was now scrutinized not just for storytelling, but for hidden drama. During a particularly intense scene, a new rumor surfaced that reignited the feud. A leaked photo from an off-set rehearsal showed Sydney seemingly rolling her eyes while Zendaya delivered a monologue. Fans immediately dubbed it the eye roll scandal, dissecting the image frame by frame across every social media platform. "She can't hide her disdain," one tweet read. "Zendaya deserves better." Meanwhile, Sydney's followers fired back, claiming it was taken out of context and proving that Zendaya was too controlling on set. Even without confirmation, the photo fueled the fire. And gossip outlets couldn't resist spinning it into another explosive story. Despite the chaos, some moments of vulnerability surfaced. Zendaya confided in a close friend, admitting she felt trapped by public expectations. "People forget we're human," she reportedly said. "They want a feud, a story, a villain, and a hero. But it's my life too, and sometimes I just want peace." Sydney, meanwhile, was seen quietly volunteering at a local charity, away from cameras. Sources claimed she used the experience to clear her mind and remember who she really is. Fans speculated endlessly. Was this a reconciliation gesture, or a way to rehabilitate her public image? The tension reached another climax when the cast was invited to an exclusive after-party following a high-profile award ceremony. Everyone expected fireworks, and rumors suggested that this was where the feud would either end or escalate further. According to an insider, both actresses arrived separately, each flanked by close friends and publicists. For the first hour, they avoided each other completely, sticking to their respective circles. Then, unexpectedly, a mutual acquaintance tried to bridge the gap. "Come on, it's just a party," they said. "Let's sit together for a minute." Zendaya and Sydney exchanged glances, and the room held its breath. What happened next, according to witnesses, was extraordinary. Instead of a confrontation, they shared a long, intense conversation in a quiet corner away from cameras. Voices were low, but the emotional weight was clear. "I don't want this to define us," Zendaya reportedly said. Sydney nodded, adding, "Me neither. I just need to feel like I belong without comparison, without judgment." For the first time in months, onlookers claimed to see genuine smiles, and perhaps even the beginning of understanding. Still, Hollywood drama is rarely resolved so neatly. Within hours, anonymous posts appeared online claiming that a hidden argument had taken place immediately after the party. Fans scrambled to interpret cryptic captions, and gossip pages speculated about a secret fallout. Insiders denied any confrontation, calling the claims fabricated for clicks. But the cycle of rumor, speculation, and drama continued unabated. The public couldn't get enough, and both actresses were trapped in a whirlwind of their own making. Amid all this, unexpected allies appeared. Some co-stars openly expressed support for both women, urging the public to focus on their craft rather than the feud. Jacob Elordi, once a passive observer, commented in a podcast, "They're incredible together. Whether the world wants drama or not, I just hope everyone remembers why we fell in love with this show in the first place." Fans took these words as encouragement, and for a brief moment, hope for reconciliation spread online. The following months were marked by cautious progress. Zendaya and Sydney were photographed at industry events in the same venues, but maintaining polite distance. Social media posts suggested subtle reconciliation mutual follows. Likes, and occasionally, collaborative content hints, but nothing overt. Insiders described it as testing the waters, seeing if trust can be rebuilt. Despite progress, there remained the shadow of past betrayals, and any misstep could reignite the feud. As the season finale of Euphoria approached, the industry braced for a climax not just on screen, but off. Directors, producers, even costume designers admitted that working with the two women required unprecedented diplomacy. Every shot was framed to minimize tension, and scenes were shot in isolation when possible. Yet, for all the caution, there were moments where raw emotions seeped through. Some fans claimed they could see the residual friction in subtle glances and gestures, interpreting them as either unresolved anger or the lingering weight of their shared history. The public, of course, remained obsessed. Every red carpet appearance, interview, and social media update was dissected for signs of progress or relapse. Memes, reaction videos, and opinion threads flooded the internet. Celebrities weighing in on social media added layers of complexity, turning the feud into a global spectacle. Some outlets even speculated on the impact this drama would have on future projects, brand deals, and awards chances, further fueling the frenzy. And yet, despite all the chaos, a quieter narrative emerged. Insiders reported small private gestures of goodwill. Zendaya sending flowers to Sydney after a stressful shoot. Sydney complimenting Zendaya's performance during a break, and both sharing subtle acknowledgments in private group chats. These small actions hinted that, while their relationship might never return to what it once was, a new form of mutual respect could be forming, born out of experience, pain, and understanding. Toward the end of the year, another unexpected twist occurred. A collaborative charity project brought Zendaya and Sydney into the same room for several days of filming. For the first time in months, they worked closely, laughing quietly at shared jokes and supporting each other on camera. Crew members described the atmosphere as tentative but genuine. Paparazzi and fans alike noted that while the chemistry was different from before, there was a sense that something fragile but real was emerging. By now, the saga had taken on almost mythic proportions. What began as a seemingly simple feud had transformed into a story about ambition, fame, betrayal, and growth. Fans debated endlessly about who was right or wrong, yet the reality, according to those closest to the situation, was far more complex. Zendaya and Sydney, both extraordinarily talented and driven, had navigated a turbulent friendship in the spotlight, a reminder that even in the most glamorous settings, human emotions are raw and unfiltered. And there you have it, the full saga of Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney. A friendship turned rivalry, full of heartbreak, drama, and jaw-dropping twists. The question now is, will they ever fully reconcile, or is this feud far from over? Fans are still debating, insiders are whispering, and the next move could change everything. One thing's for sure, Hollywood is watching, and so are we. If you've been following every shocking detail, now it's your turn to weigh in. Who do you think is really in the right? Is Zendaya justified in protecting herself, or is Sydney simply trying to carve her own path? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear your take on the drama. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed the inside scoop. And hit that subscribe button so you never miss another explosive Hollywood story. Remember, this feud is far from over, and you'll want to be the first to catch every shocking update. So stay tuned, stay curious, and join the conversation, because in Hollywood, the drama never sleeps. The drama never sleeps.